Hello guys, in this training I will walk you through some steps so you can organize your week in a way that is more productive, that helps you stay focused on what is actually important for you and helps you move forward with your priority rather than reacting to everything that is happening around you, getting distracted all the time and end up feeling chaotic and overwhelmed. This is part of a free YouTube series for creating a clear vision and an organized plan for your life ahead. You can find a link with all of the trainings so far in the description below. The idea for today's training is for you to create a template, a routine for your week for the next 3 months. After that, when you make your revision, if your priority changes or something else in your life changes, you can also change the way your week look like in order to reflect what is happening for you at the moment, but still intentionally staying focused on what is important for you, on what you have already decided that you want to work towards. There are two main benefits of creating a routine for your week. First is it gives you the opportunity to use your time with intention. That is something that we talked about last time. Meaning to create your week in a way that is productive, that is supportive, and that is focused on your priority, rather than letting things happen chaotically and reacting to everything that shows up and want to steal your time, your energy, your attention. The second big benefit of having a routine is that having this template for your week creates predictability and clarity for you, and it makes it upfront so you take less decisions during the week. And less decisions during the week means that you will have less stress and more capacity to handle problems when they arise and you need to deal with them. In many ways, we experience stress in areas where we don't have much clarity, where we don't have predictability and we don't have structure. And basically, when we create a bigger vision for ourselves, it comes with a lot of unknowns, which creates a lot of stress in different ways. So our goal is for us to create clarity, predictability, and structure everywhere we can. That way, we lower the stress that we can control, and therefore we have more capacity to handle the stress that we can predict and we can control. In this sense, creating an organization in your week and in your day, which we'll be covering next time, is part of creating clarity and predictability and structure in your life. So you can lower the stress, feel more stable and grounded, and deal with the discomfort that comes with changes and working on your goals in a better way. People who create clarity, create routine, and organize their time, they experience how time slows down. You feel like you actually have time, not because you have more time per se, but because you clearly can see how your time is allocated instead of reacting to everything, not knowing where you waste your time, and constantly telling yourself that you don't have time. When you have a clear plan for your week and your day, you are not constantly guessing and wondering when this or that will happen, because this is taking a lot of energy and it creates a lot of confusion. So using your time with intention and consciously lowering your stress in your day-to-day life is the result of having a clear structure for your week and your day. Okay, so now I will show you the structure for organizing your week in the Excel spreadsheet, and in the Alive software I will give you some directions and steps to follow, and then you can organize your week in a way that really suits you the best. If you haven't chosen a tool for creating and working on your vision, there is a link in the description below with the 3 options that I'm giving for this training. Okay, this is how it looks like in the Excel spreadsheet. The tab is week, and here I called it My Amazing Week. And here are the days of the week, and here are the hours. Depending on how you want to use it, and we'll talk about that, you can change the hours or you can leave it the way it is. This is how it looks like in the Alive software. Here is Amazing Week. I think it doesn't show the whole picture in the video, but there is Sunday on the right side. Here I put some information as an example. You can ignore it for now. Here are again the days and also the hours. Here you cannot edit the hours. Maybe that will be something that we will fix in the next update of the software, but you still have enough space to write everything you need for the week. Okay, so the first step for creating an organization in your week is to create an overall structure of your week that feels good to you and fits whatever you are doing at the moment. This can look in different ways. I will share with you 3 examples. You can take some ideas from those examples and you can decide what kind of overall structure will be best for your week, depending on what you need to do in your week. And I know that some people think that their week just cannot be organized, but I truly, truly believe that every week can be organized in a way that is more intentional, productive, and focused. Okay, so the first example that I have is from Dan Sullivan. I think I mentioned him in some of the last videos. He's a person that is a leading strategic coach. It's one of the biggest masterminds in the US. And I really like his approach of how to structure your week in order to have results on what is important for you. So the way he recommends everybody to structure their week is to have 3 days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or maybe other 3 days of the week, but days that are following one to another, to have focused work on what your priority or important tasks are. And he's defining important tasks as tasks that generate money or that generate results. So anything that you can't connect with making money or generating real results are not important tasks. So the first 3 days of the week, he's allocating to the most important things that you are working towards and the most important tasks that are bringing value and helping you to get results. Then the next 2 days is for overall things like organizational things, administrative things, appointments. It doesn't matter if it's work related or personal related. You can do also if you have any doctor appointments, dentist, or whatever it is. But the idea is to have 2 separate days that are just for organization and admin related tasks. And then you have the last 2 days, Saturday and Sunday, for full rest mode. And he's defining rest mode as a period of 24 hours that you are not doing anything related to work, even not thinking about things that are related to work. A lot of people use their Saturday and Sunday in order to catch up with different household things or other stuff that they couldn't do during the week. But what Dalit Sullivan is teaching, and I actually really like and adopt for myself, is that to leave Saturday and Sunday for true rest and use Thursday and Friday or you can change the days, but 2 days for overall stuff and admin, all of those overall things that we are doing during the week. The second example that I have is my own personal structure of the week. And my own personal structure changes depending on how many projects I'm working on during the week. But at this moment, I'm working on 2 projects. And the way I structure my week at the moment is I'm working 2 days focused on the first project. And I took that idea from Dan Sullivan to focus on the tasks that bring value or bring real results. Then the next 2 days, I focus on the second project. And the same thing, I'm focused on the tasks that are more important. And then I have just 1 day to do overall things. And again, this can be work related or personal related, going to the supermarket, doing laundry, having meetings with someone that is not that important, doing some organizational stuff, doing research things. So because for me, those tasks are not that much and they're not taking that much time, I didn't want to give them 2 days, especially when I'm working on 2 projects. That's why I condensed it in only 1 day. And then I have Saturday and Sunday free. But to be honest, in those 3 days, I'm not that strict with not thinking about work. Usually, I do think and do something related to work. And sometimes actually Saturday I use for finishing something at work if I really need it and I don't feel good to leave it for the next week. But this is my overall structure that I'm following and that feels really good and organized and simplified for myself at the moment. Every 3 months, when I do a revision of my vision, I look the week and I see if something changes. I can change something here and there, but the idea is to be focused, to be productive, and to be simple. And the third example that I have is from one lady that I recently heard. She was sharing about her structure of the week. She is actually a coach, and I thought it will be interesting to share another example. So the way she structured her week was that first she had 1 day for creating a content for her business. Then she has 3 days for coaching, and she's coaching one-on-one. She doesn't do group calls. So obviously when you're doing one-on-one consultation, you have more time in doing coaching and consultation rather than if you do a big group. Then she have one day for team meetings and overall things. Again, it can be personal, it can be work related, but it's more of a organizational stuff and admin stuff. And then she have 2 days for rest. So as you can probably see, the common theme here is to combine similar things in one day, so you don't have too many switching between two different activities, because switching between very different activities takes a lot of energy and brain power. And when you combine tasks that are similar, it is a lot easier for people to move through them. And it creates this feeling of more ease in the day when you are going through your schedule. Sometimes when I'm not sure how exactly to structure my week, I just make the best structure that I can for this moment, and then I experiment with it. And while I'm experimenting, I just notice what works for me, what doesn't work, what feels good, what doesn't feel good, and I adjust it on the go so I feel good within this structure. I share this as a guideline, what you can do if in the beginning you are feeling unsure how exactly to structure your week. With time and with experience, you will start to feel very quickly what will most probably work for you and what will most probably not work for you, and you will be able to structure your week more quickly when you need to change something. Okay, so the next step to organizing your week is to write down every single thing that you are doing during the week, no matter if it's work related or personal. You write down everything that you do during the week, from small things to big things, and you explain it here in each part. You can take into consideration the hours, or maybe you don't have to take it into consideration. Personally, in the beginning, when I started to use this structure, I was considering the hours, but at the moment, I'm just putting one after the other what I need to do during the day, and I just know, I write it in my amazing day when and what is happening. But if you want to be very organized and everything to be clear, you can take into consideration the hours and then write down on when what is happening. So you can go through each day and write down everything that you need to do in this particular moment, and probably for the next 3 months. Then the next step is to go through all of the days in the whole week and see how you can simplify and organize those tasks that you have to do. Like, for example, you can gather things that are more technical and do them in one day, or combine things that are more creative and do them in another day. That way, you combine similar tasks and you don't have to switch between different tasks with a lot of effort. Another thing, for example, you can do is, one time I was working with one lady and she was studying for an exam, and she was putting 1 hour studying on this material each day. And I thought this is really kind of not very productive, because you need to switch again from working or doing whatever you are doing to studying. And we did it in one day for 5 hours, just focusing on studying of this material. Or you can do it maybe 2 days with 3 hours each day. Another example, if you maybe work with clients, and this is another case, one lady was having a specific time for client work each day of the week, but at the same time she was having just 3 clients at the moment, and I asked her why she doesn't have a clear allocated time for each client, and she told me that her clients are sending her information what she needs to work on randomly, and she doesn't really know when they will send her the information, so she's keeping 1 hour each day in order, even I think it was 2 hours each day, in order to be ready if they send her information. And again, that is really not productive. You need to communicate with your clients, maybe a schedule where they send you the information and when you are ready with your work, and to send them the result. So she actually did that. She communicated with them and they said, okay, I will send you the information till Friday and you can send me back the information till Wednesday, for example, or whatever works for you. The idea is to not allocate that many hours during your week for something that is really happening very not organized. So you are wasting your time essentially. Or when you go through your week and you realize that some of the things are not that important for this period of time, for these 3 months, you can delete them or you can postpone them for the next 3 months or something like that. So they are not taking up your time that you need to be focused on your priorities. Another thing that you can do while you are revising all of your week is that seeing if something can be automated or delegated. Like you can delegate it to somewhere in your house or somebody else, or automate it. Like for example, instead of going to the supermarket every day for food, you can maybe go only one time per week to the supermarket. Or instead of doing laundry randomly during the week, you can do it only one time in a week, or only one time per 2 weeks. The idea is to have a specific day for overall stuff like supermarket, laundry, or organizational stuff can be allocated in just one day of the week. So you know that other days can be really focused on something important. And for some of us, we will need just one day for overall things, and some of us will be 2 days for overall things. It really depends on what kind of period you are. But when you have that kind of day, you know that whenever something comes up during the week, you are not jumping and taking care of it, but you put it just on Friday. This is for overall stuff, so I'm not taking care of it immediately. Sometimes you will realize that if you wait a little bit, if you put it on Friday, you will realize that maybe till Friday, this has already been resolved and you don't have to do anything about it. So those are some ideas where you go through each day and you just see how can you organize and simplify your week in a way that is more combined, more productive, and more focused on what's really important. Instead of doing things really chaotically, that will take a lot of time and energy for you to switch between tasks. Okay, so the fourth and final step for organizing your week is to review your week and make sure that your time is intentionally spent and the week feels good to you. Again, you go through the days and you check if you have enough time in your week to work on your priorities for the next 3 months, that you already decide that this is your priority. And if you happen to realize that you don't have enough time for your priority, then you see what you can change, what you can adjust or postpone, so you actually have time for what is actually important for you in this moment. Because we often say, okay, this is my priority, but we don't actually allocate and spend time for this in this direction in order for us to really move the needle in what is important for us. You can also check if you have enough time allocated to work on your maintenance areas for the next 3 months. Again, if you realize that you don't actually have enough time for that, you see what you can change, what you can adjust or postpone, so you can actually have time for those areas. Another important thing that you can take into consideration is, again, having time for unexpected things and things that might take a lot more time that you have planned. And the idea is, again, the same that I said before, to have spare time. So if something unexpected happens, it doesn't completely throw you off from your plan. Because we cannot directly plan unexpected things, but we can actually plan unexpected things when we have time for them. We know that there are things happening all the time, and if something unexpected happens or something takes a lot more time than we thought it will take, we still have time and we don't have to panic, we don't have to be anxious, we don't have to say that, oh my God, my plan goes to garbage. So you make sure that you have some breathing space around your week. And the final step is actually to see your week and to feel good about it. It doesn't mean you look to be easy, but you look to feel good, because if something doesn't feel good, you will have some resistance towards doing what you need to be doing during the week, and you will generate negative energy, which then will affect the way you do everything. So when you look at your week and something doesn't feel good, try to identify what exactly doesn't feel good and how it can be organized in a way that it feels at least a little bit good to you. That will not always be possible, but at least you will put some intention to think about it, and maybe you will find a way to do it in at least a little bit more pleasant way for you. And also you will gain some awareness where this resistance is coming from. At the end, when you look at your week, it needs to have only the most important things for you that you intentionally want to work on for the next 3 months. You need to feel like you have enough time to work on them with pleasure rather than with pressure. And you need to feel good about your week, about when and what you are working on. And it needs to feel organized and clear rather than chaotic, doing like random stuff. If you don't feel good about it, it means that you probably need to go through your days again and adjust something so it feels focused, intentional, and pleasant for you. After we create this template for our week, the goal is to try and stay aligned to this template in about maybe 80% of the time. And the other 20%, we are okay with the fact that the chaos will just take over sometimes, and that is totally okay. Again, it's not about rigidly following a plan, but about intentionally deciding how we want to spend our time during the week and then aligning to that every time something comes up and try to distract us and steal our time, attention, and energy in a different direction. Now you can take your time and create a template, a routine for your week, the way it best fits what you have to do during the week. Try to simplify it, to combine different tasks, delete things that are not so important for this period, automate everything you can, and try to make it feel good to you in a way that inspires you to take action. And also, while you are moving through your week and actually see what is working for you, what is not working, what you feel good about and what you don't feel good about, make adjustments on the go so you fine-tune your plan for the week in a way that is really suits you and that is really productive for you. From there, just try to stay aligned to your plan 80% of the time, and in the other 20%, allow yourself to be in the chaos when it becomes too demanding. In those 80%, when you follow your plan, you just notice when you get distracted with something outside or inside, because a lot of time the distractions are not only coming from outside, different thoughts, different ideas. We can see them as inspiration sometimes, but they're most probably just a distraction again. So you can write them down. If it's just a thought or idea, you can write it down or put it for a research on Friday on your day for overall things, and you continue with your plan. So whenever some kind of distractions arise, you pause, you remember that you have a clear plan that you consciously decide that you want to follow and you want to spend your time on, and then you align to your plan of the week instead of getting swiped by those outside or inside distractions that comes and want to steal your time and attention. When you do this, maybe try to notice this feeling of stability that comes from having a plan that helps you stay intentional with your time. It helps you take conscious decisions rather than unconsciously jumping into distractions. It helps you stay more present and relaxed because you know what you are doing rather than constantly reacting to what is happening outside or inside. Noticing this will help you more and more understand the true value and the true benefit of having a plan that keeps you intentional, stable, and moving forward. Alright, that's about for this video. If you have any questions or comments about organizing your week, write them down below in the comments and I'll answer them. In the next video, we will talk about organizing your day. You can find a link with all of the trainings so far in the description below. If you want to receive those trainings in your inbox, you can sign up for my email list. In the description below is the link. Subscribe, like this video, and leave a comment below, even if it's just your favorite emoji, because that will help me a lot with the YouTube algorithm, so more people see this video and start creating more clarity and organization in their life. I'll see you in the next video.